What's up, everybody? It's Chris from At This Moment. I thought I'd just check in with y'all, see what you were up to. I just took the trash out. It's hot as heck outside, so just kind of lounging around, being a little lazy today. Thought I'd do another vid for you guys and just see how everything's going. Just checking up on y'all. But as you saw in the background right there, I'm watching this season 3 of Titans on HBO Max, and if you couldn't tell by the room, I love DC Comics. I love pretty much everything about Batman, and yeah, I've watched the first 2 seasons. I thought it was a great show. I think I might do a good season 3 breakdown or just a reaction, just to have a little fun with it. I think that's something I'll probably look into here in the next couple of days. But the main topic I wanted to just throw out there today is, I know I mentioned recently that I bought myself a new truck and everything, but I kind of wanted to touch the bases on probably one of the worst car buying experiences I've ever had. I'm not going to mention any dealership names or throw it out there, exactly where I was, what day, because, I know my fans out there be trying to stalk me. Sorry, forgot to mute my phone. But anyways, so yeah, I would say a couple weeks ago, my wife and I, we kind of knew we were in the market for another truck. There was really nothing wrong with mine per se, but we did notice there was some issues, like especially with our daughter in the back. She's pretty tall, and it just wasn't a lot of room. So, I finally decided to purchase something that was a lot bigger, but I'll get into that in another video. But anyways, I just wanted to talk about like what had to come together to finally wind up with the truck that I do now. So it all started on a Saturday morning. I already had my eyes on a truck. I was emailing, well, actually texting the sales lady throughout the week. Because I didn't want to, because where I was driving, it was probably about an hour and 45 minutes away from home to go pick up this particular truck. So I was texting the lady because I didn't want to drive out there for nothing. And I would hope she was being honest, but at the same time, she was like, yeah, I don't want you to drive out all the way here for nothing as well. So to break it all down, we go out there early Saturday morning. Oh, hi, Daisy. Well, Daisy's in the house, so, well, in the room. Oh my goodness, and she's a big crybaby, so you might have to excuse that for a second. But anyways, we start off Saturday morning. We go grab some coffees and we start heading down there. And everything's cool. It's a smooth drive out there, no issues getting out there. And I pull into the driveway, and the sales lady is pretty much already right there. She pretty much has keys in hand. And, I was considering buying a Nissan Titan with the diesel. I have never owned a diesel truck before, but I was like, hey, something new. It was their XD limited edition or SL, something like that. I don't know. It had everything. Had all the bells and whistles. It had leather interior, premium sound system. I mean, just anything you could ask for, except for maybe a sunroof. I think that's maybe like an only option somebody would want that this thing was missing. But anyways, we get there. We take the thing out for a test drive. Everything's going pretty good. Just cruising along. My wife is kind of like, why does it ride like that? Why does it sound like that? I was like, I don't, I've never owned a diesel, so I'm assuming this is just what they do. I know they sound louder and they sound different as they drive. But anyways, we get back to the dealer. We do some negotiating. Some of the numbers really weren't there. And I'm going in with a pre-approval from my credit union, so we already know what we're working with, and we really didn't want to sit down and go through the whole back and forth mumbo jumbo. Well, anyways, it came down to it where my wife and I, we took off for a little bit because, we wanted to discuss more about exactly what they were saying and why the numbers looked a little different than we thought they should. So in the end, we went to go, we pulled over somewhere and we were just kind of discussing some things, and we decided to go back to the dealer and work a deal. So this is where it gets interesting. So we work the deal, everything's going good. We go into finance, we sign all the paperwork. I kid you not. The minute I get in the truck, check engine light comes on. So I'm like, okay, I know they told me they just put gas, so maybe they just didn't tighten the gas cap because I know sometimes that can cause the check engine light to come on because the fuel and air ratios they're all off and everything. So I'm like, okay. So I go find the manager, the sales manager that was helping finalize the deal. I'm like, hey, dude, the check engine light came on. I don't know, what's up with that? And he's like, oh, he kind of assumed the same thing I did. They just put fuel. Let's check the gas cap. I checked the gas cap. It didn't feel, quite as tight as maybe it should be. So I tightened it down. He turned it off and on a couple of times. Now, the way he kind of turned things on and off, like I'm not a big car guy, so I don't know if anything he would have done would have like maybe tricked the computer into thinking that, everything was all good. But anyways, the check engine light, it turns off. So I'm like, cool. All right. We proceed to take off. Everything's going good. I have to, of course, take freeways back home. Truck's feeling nice, everything. And, we met my daughter for, I guess you could say, a late lunch, early dinner that day. Had a good time and everything. I get back up maybe a mile, half a mile away from home. Check engine light comes back on. I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on here? And then, like I said, I don't know much about diesels, but this thing goes into a whole, what did it call it? Kind of like they call it a limp mode when it comes to diesels. Pretty much the engine doesn't perform at the rate that it thinks it should because, of course, it feels like there's something wrong with the engine. So I'm like, what the hell? I got the check engine light going off. This thing's glowing red in my face, and I'm just like, what the heck is going on? So, anyways, we pull into the driveway, turn the truck off for the night, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, what's really going on here? I lose total sleep that night. I think I only slept for like maybe 2, 3 hours at the most. And granted, my daughter has to be in a location early in the morning. We have another about an hour and a half drive, for us the next morning to get where she needs to go. Well, actually, she played later in the day that day. Sorry, I take that back. But anyways, I'm still like full blown tired because I'm stressing all night thinking I'm stuck with like this paperweight. I understand that the dealer would have to fix it eventually. But like I said, I live like 2 hours, almost 2 hours away from the dealership. And here we are on a Sunday, and I know practically nothing's going to get done probably till the middle of the next week. What am I supposed to do? Just let this truck just sit there and do nothing? Like, I'm like, no, 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 no. So I called well, no, we actually tried to take the truck the next day because when I started it up again, the check engine light went off. Everything would seemed like it was back to normal. So I was like, okay. We start to leave, pull out of the driveway, check engine light comes back on. I'm like, so we get, halfway, not even, maybe a quarter mile down the road, and the damn thing goes into that limp mode again, this total engine power saving mode, I think it's called. Lights are going off, red lights are going off. And my wife was nice enough to drive because she know I was, stressing the night before. She knew I was really tired. So, of course, this is causing havoc between my wife and I because I'm sitting here assuming I'm stuck with this thing because we signed contracts no matter what. I'm just stuck with it. And my wife was like, no, you need to fight this. And I'm like, okay, okay. But I'm thinking in my head, I'm stuck with this because by this time, I text the lady that sold me the truck. I was like, hey, this isn't going to work out. Something's really wrong with this truck. Everything, these lights are going off. And so, of course, she has the used car manager call me, and he's like, "Hey, Chris, what's going on?" And blah blah blah. I explained to him all the situation, and get this guy has the nerve to admit to me that they knew that this truck had a check engine light issue with a sensor for the cooling system of the truck, and they've supposedly already ordered the part. I'm thinking in my head, okay, if you knew this was going on, and oh, he also admitted that they cleared the code and they thought it would never come back. So I'm like, wait a second. So you're telling me you sold me a car that you knew was already messed up pretty much. And he's like, well, yeah, but like I said, we got the part on order. We'll get everything working 100% for you. Please, blah, 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 this and that. I'm like, no, 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 no. You can't sell somebody something that isn't working correctly. That's not right. He's like, I know, it's on us to fix it. I'm like, well, as far as I'm concerned, the loan didn't go through because your finance guy told me that for some reason Schools First put a hold on financing the truck. And I was like, I'll just tell my finance company I, I'm backing out of the deal. And of course, he tries to hit me with all this, oh, there could be a lot of legal ramifications if you do something like that. I'm like, okay, bud, okay, whatever. So of course, I get off the phone with him because he's trying to find out when the part comes in, blah, blah, blah. So, the next day I decide I'm just gonna drive out there. So I text the sales guy. I was like, hey, or the sales manager. I'm like, hey, what time are you gonna be in the office? Cause I'm on my way. He's like, oh, well, wait, um, don't come out here yet because I'm still, on the phone with the parts department and I wanna, we need to find out when the parts come in. I'm like, no, we're not gonna wait until the parts department tells you anything because I want to know what the hell's going on with this thing. So, anyways, I'm driving out there. Oh, no, let me rewind a little bit. Sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So, we find out, because we're trying to ask our credit union why their part of the computer showed a block. Well, get this. I don't know if they were just in such a rush, to sell this thing, if everybody really knew what was going on with it. I don't know. But the finance guy filed the paperwork wrong. So I'm not going to tell you exactly how he filed the paperwork wrong because that's a little bit more on the personal basis. But because of that, I just told the sales manager, I was like, hey, my bank is telling me you guys screwed up the paperwork and it takes me and my wife to sign the paperwork and my wife's not going to go down there and sign anything. So at this point, of course, he doesn't know I'm already on my way down there. So I get off the freeway and I finally get a text from the guy. He's like, oh, okay, we'll go ahead and roll back the deal, but it has to be done at some point today. I'm like, in my head, I didn't even tell him where I was, but in my head, I'm like, partner, I'm 5 minutes away. I'll be there. You know what I mean? So in the end, they rewound the deal. They gave me my original trade in, and that was just basically it. But the amount of stress and hardship they put on my wife and I, just between us, the way, I thought it was going to go one way, and of course, she thought it should go another way. I really thought I was going to be caught up in some legal BS because we signed all the paperwork, but because of their lack of paying attention to how the paperwork should be filed with the credit union, their loss. So, I just decided to share that a little bit with you guys. The name of this channel is At This Moment, and I told you I wanted to focus on a lot more topics besides just my weight loss journey, even though this was the main focus of everything was my weight loss journey. So why don't you tell me what kind of absolutely terrible, terrible car buying experiences have you had? Whether it be they try to sell you something that was a junker, maybe the car salesman was just a total pain in the butt. I don't know, whatever it could be, you know, let me know. Um, I got a couple more things I want to share with you guys in the next couple of videos. But until then, as always, like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget about my Beats by Dre giveaway. And until then, stay cool wherever you are. But if you're chilling somewhere and it's like 70 degrees, I envy you because it's like 103 right now. That's not our hottest it usually gets, but it's hot right now. The only time I've been outside really was to take the trash to the trash can, and the ants weren't even out. It's so hot. These dudes were like, hell no, we're taking the day off. Sorry, we're not gonna irritate you today or crawl all over your yard or whatever they like to do. But anyways, just want to say I appreciate everybody. Thanks for the love and support. And until next time, be careful of those car salespeople. Okay? But I mean, in the end, I wound up with something a lot nicer. I didn't go diesel, because I actually did some more research on that, and I think I was in way over my head, anyways. But, anyways, until then, love you guys. Peace out.